The EP Podcast. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at theeppodcast.com.
And bellying up to the 9-foot homemade oak bar. Pour yourself a cold one. My name is Chris Lanuti, and you are in my basement right here in Evergreen Park for 30 minutes of good in a world of dumb, known as the EP Podcast. 4 years we've been around now. All I can say is thank you. Thank you so much for all of your support. Also, thanks to the support of the First National Bank of Evergreen Park, our proud sponsor for several years now. They are dedicated to supporting this area with great banking tools and friendly service. They are a true community bank that provides this neighborhood with customized financial solutions. They have Total Access Checking. That is an account with free ATMs nationwide. Wherever you go, whatever the fee is on whatever ATM you're using, they put that money back in for you. So the ATM is free, all around free. I don't know about anybody else that does that. Open online now at bankevergreenpark.com/total access/EP. $100 required to open. Requirements to qualify. Must use link to apply. Member FDIC. John Brand from Open Outcry sitting down here at this bar. Glenn Panuski from the Village of Evergreen Park with a bunch of stuff sitting down here at the 9-foot homemade oak bar. All right. You want a beer?
You haven't? Yeah, what do you got?
I got, what do I got in there? I know I have Lagunitas IPA. I know I have the Oscar Blues Brewery, the Scotch ale that they have there.
I don't like that beer.
You don't like Scotch ale?
I don't like that
I got
beer.
Miller Lights in there. And I have this new Blue Moon that they put out. It's like a hazy pale ale.
I'll just do a Miller Light.
All right. John Brand's sitting down here, and he's going to go with the Miller Light, which is solid.
Well, I'm sorry I didn't bring beer today. I just did not have time.
You were working on the roof.
I was, yeah.
You came over. Your hands are still black. What are you, laying down like tar? Like you're over at 109th and Western. Like I would think a guy who owns his own brewery, who, like, you know, has been in the community for years, survived the COVID-19 pandemic and kept his brewery not only alive but growing. And I know there's growth down the line for you that I'm sure we'll get into on a future show.
Yeah, we can talk about that on a future show.
But yeah, but I mean, like you have so much ahead for you and everything like that. You're still up there doing the grunt work on your roof? What are you doing?
Yeah, we're a small business. You got to do all this stuff. So I did call you ahead of time, made sure it was okay that
you called me at a T-ball game.
A little stinky.
And you were like, can I get here a little early? And I'm like, well, I'll be at the T-ball game. He's like, can I sit in your backyard and smoke a cigar and wait for you? Because I'm dirty and I stink and you don't have any guests coming over, right? I think what you said was the mayor's not coming tonight, right? I'm like, no, the mayor was on last show.
I didn't want Mayor Burke to I did not want Mayor Burke to see me in the condition that I'm in right now. No.
I love that. I've
been on the roof for the last 4 days, 5 days. Power washing, planting. We built the bar.
Oh, the dirt is actual dirt.
It's actual dirt.
You're planting things up there.
Planting, power wash the whole deck, making basic repairs, getting ready for the opening.
You haven't opened it yet?
We're gonna. It's been open on and off.
Why do I feel like you're always just so gung ho? You'll tell me like, yeah, the rooftop will be open in a week, and then I see it 2 weeks later and it's not open yet.
Well, I can't tell people no. So when like I'm up there working. And somebody says, "Hey, can we grab a couple beers and go on the roof?" I'm like, "Yeah,
Come on up here."
If you don't mind me grunting and." But I think we're going to formally open. Well, this year we took an extra, I'd say 2 weeks, just because we just completed yesterday a bar. We built a bar on the roof finally.
I can't wait to sit at this.
Many years of requests from our guests and delays due to the pandemic and. With all the uncertainty, but we got it done. We built a full functional.
Are there stools at this bar?
There's stools at the bar.
So I can sit. It's not like a bar. It's just a service bar. I can sit on a roof at the bar.
It's both. So you got.
Awesome.
So I think there's 10 bar stools, maybe 8 bar stools.
Yeah, can you put a little plaque on one of them that says "Reserved for Chris Lanuti"?
Yes, we can do that.
I will come there.
Yes. Yeah. Full functional bar. That we will be pouring beer up there. We're gonna have the full cocktail bar will be up there.
Yeah.
Wine will be up there.
If I order something that's a beer that is only available downstairs at that bar, will they be able to get it up to me, or is it?
Yeah, we'll figure out a way to get that up too.
All right.
We've had
that's my job, John, is to throw wrenches into your plans here in these interviews. Yeah,
thank you. So this is I think our 4th summer upstairs, 2 of which we've been in a pandemic, so it didn't feel like it was real, but. and we've known this from launch date, and the feedback from our customers was clear that a full functional bar upstairs would improve the guest experience. And we knew that we had to get that done. We didn't get it done the last 2 years, but we got it done this year, and it looks fantastic. It looks great. It's going to be fully functioning. We're running soda lines up there too next week.
That's awesome.
And it's going to improve the guest experience. Whereas on a busy Friday, Saturday night, maybe you had to wait a couple extra minutes for a drink. I wanted to eliminate that. And we were just tired of running the damn stairs.
Right.
Like I've run those stairs, I don't know how many thousands of times in the last 4 years, and I'm getting old and I can't do that anymore. So we got it done, and I'm very excited for it, and it looks great, and I think it's going to really make a better guest experience up there this year.
That's awesome. We're going to talk a little bit about your beer and why you didn't. You've explained you were working on the roof.
I was running out of the place.
That's why I don't have any beer.
And
it's always an excuse with you. That's fine. You can come over. You know what? For all the beer I've drank at your place, you can have some of my beer.
Oh,
okay.
Thank you.
You can have and what's interesting is we're going to talk a little bit on this show. We've got other folks that are stopping by on this episode of the EP podcast, but there is a special coming up on Friday where I'm going to sit down with John, because the number one thing in the recent survey, at least according to the mayor, when we asked her what did they find when people asked what do you want in Evergreen Park, was a brewery. And we just heard that on the last episode of the EP podcast, and you came down here, and I was like, "Oh, come on over. We'll hang out for a little bit. You'll be part of the show on, the coming out of this Memorial Day weekend." And we got into such a long conversation. I told you I'm taking the whole thing and I'm putting it as a Friday special. So that's coming up in a couple of days. You get an entire conversation with John about how he started his brewery, what it would be like to start a brewery, what it was like in the early days. I think it's really cool what we were talking about. And I was like, I don't want to edit any of it. So it's going to be a Friday special on the EP podcast. So I'm looking forward to that. As Glenn Panuski from The Village gets the mic set up in front of him, never forget that the absolute best and authentic Mexican-American food you can find is just outside of Evergreen Park. It's at Americano's Restaurant, just north of 111th and Western. They have an incredible selection of gourmet tacos. I love it. They got the steak, the chicken, the pork. They got the fish and shrimp ones, but they also have brisket. They got chorizo and sweet potato. That is amazing. Their pork belly taco is maybe the best on the entire South Side. They have a big, beautiful bar, and in my opinion, the best selection, top to bottom, of tequilas, whiskeys, beers, and wines that you're going to find anywhere. Cadillac Margarita that they have, all premium, all fresh, squeezed ingredients. Get in there for lunch, date night, bring the whole family anytime. Catering options are available. My kid graduates from MHR this week. I know the Central kids are graduating. I think they actually already did. You may have a party you're still planning. Call Americanos. They also have brunch as well. All details at americanosrestaurant.com. Visit them today, 11060 Southwestern Avenue. Sitting down here at the 9-foot homemade oak bar is Glenn Panuski. How are you, my friend?
Doing very well. Hopefully you are keeping healthy and happy summer.
I like how you're checking on my health right away. You're a nervous guy. You worried I got the monkeypox? Is that what it is?
How about that, though? It's
always something, Glenn.
It's one
it's always
darn
something.
thing after another.
The monkeypox is going to get me now. Remember Zika? We were all very worried that all of our children would come out with misshapen heads, and then all of a sudden COVID came along. Everybody forgot about Zika. Okay, now we got the monkeypox lingering, and who knows what happens after that. But yes, I'm doing well. Glenn works for the Village of Evergreen Park, mainly now with all the stuff with activities. And, you're over at the community center, and you have some things that you want to come over and tell me a little bit about, my friend.
I'm kind of representing the three departments over there who are doing a fantastic job, with programs.
Office of Citizen Services, Rec Department, Youth Department, right?
That's it, exactly.
Okay.
So I'll start a little bit with the Office of Citizen Services. They got some great one-day trips. They just completed one on Tuesday. It was a trip to the Chicago Historical Museum. They have a whole exhibit on the Chicago fire.
You ever been up there?
I have years ago. I want to do this exhibit.
Yeah.
I can't do it for another couple of weeks. I want to go on my leisure on a Saturday, But
it is a really neat place. Like I've been up there. You got to drive up to the north side, of
Right.
course. The
Which is
parking
no
is
big deal.
difficult right around where the area is. But I remember that when I spent 1 year at UIC, and I think my last semester at Brother Rice, I was doing Chicago history class, and I found myself having to drive up there as a young man. and go to that museum to be able to get books or find research for papers that I was writing.
Yes.
I spent a lot of time there. It's a great
So
place
you
to visit.
took a Chicago history class at Brother Rice. Did you have Ed Barra?
No, I did not.
He was great.
I have Mr. Uraski as
Okay,
I remember
all right.
my Chicago history guy. But anyway, that was one of their trips. What ones are coming up?
Coming up, we got a couple. If you're into gardens, we got a couple. On Wednesday, June 29th, they're going up to the Gardens of Rock River Valley, the Anderson Japanese Gardens. And then in July, the Quilt Gardens of Elkhart County. So those trips are both, let's see, Rock River Valley is $100 and Elkhart County is $105. Yeah, these trips fill up.
Now, when you talk Office of Citizen Services, I immediately think it's seniors. That's because it feels like that's what they normally have events for. Is it just seniors, or is it anybody in Evergreen Park?
Anybody in the world can go on
Okay.
these trips. Obviously, given that it's the middle, it's an all-day trip. You're not going to be able to get the working people.
But the podcasters, they can break away for a day every once in a while. That's what I'm
Exactly,
saying,
right?
right?
Yeah.
Like I could break away. I could go on this if I wanted
And
to.
these
All
they
right.
do very well.
How do you
Also,
sign up?
Just come on over to the community center, Office of Citizen Services. They're it's all in person. We say hello and greet you, and then they also the farmers market is now into its 4th week, I believe. So that's growing. That's every Thursday over at Yukich Field from 7 until 1.
You got to work on the tent situation over there.
Oh my goodness!
I
yes,
went
yeah.
over there. I'll tell people the story. I went over there. They got the community tent, which I think is a great idea. You get people that pop in there, and it's the one that's set up by the
Right.
village. And I had said, hey, I'd like to go over and check it out. And you're like, we'll give you the community tent. And I went over there, and it was windy. And by the time you got to me, the community tent, like one of the legs had bent in the wind. And I was like, community tent needs maybe an upgrade or something like that. Have you figured that out over there?
I believe that our guys have fixed that.
Otherwise,
Yes,
Glenn
yes.
has to stand there like he did that day and hold on to the tent while I sit in the tent. That's what you were doing at one point.
Yeah, I felt like we would have been parasailing in another 10 minutes. Yeah, so... But, and more vendors are coming. Usually in May, it's kind of light because some of these guys are waiting for their stuff to grow,
Right.
So usually by the time you hit early June, it's pretty full out there.
Well,
so.
my tamale place looks like they're back, but they have now a food truck. And
Okay.
they've upgraded, which
Okay.
I think is just like spectacular. Like I went right over there and they got the whole thing. I remember I used to go and it'd be like just somebody with a stand and like a pot.
Right.
And now it's like it's a whole food truck basically
Well,
out there.
I like the candy and nut truck, which is like right across from where you were, and the first day that we were out there, little note to the people, do not eat a whole pound bag of pumpkin seeds in 24 hours.
What happens? A pumpkin grows in you?
Enough said. Just don't do it. I learned that the hard way.
So if somebody wants to go to the farmer's market right now, there's plenty of stuff to do. When do you think it gets to its peak where you have your majority of vendors or it fills up? Because as you said, there's some places not there.
Right. We start seeing it fill up more once you get into June.
Okay.
And then you get 3.5 months of just wall to wall.
We're walking into June right now. Time to get to the farmer's market this
exactly.
Thursday. All right, cool. Once again, Glenn Panuski, one of our guests here on the EP podcast. He is brought to you by Cool Clouds Vapor Shop. Quitting smoking is hard, and Cool Clouds wants to offer you an alternative. Plus, they have great CBD products. Family owned and operated right here in Evergreen Park, 3837 West 95th Street, or check them out at coolcloudsvapor.com.
I'm sure you will be talking to Paisha Allen from the youth department. She's got some great things going. As a matter of fact, on Tuesday, she opened up their youth garden over there behind the building. So every week there's, youth volunteer activities over there, planting tomatoes, things like that. So yeah, please. And the kids should stop into that youth center anyway. It is so much fun over there. You've been in there.
I've
right?
been in there. It's really cool. I every time I go in there to go visit or check it out, I'm amazed by what they have. I mean, like if you have a kid that's sitting around that may be a little antisocial, and I think all kids are dealing with that right now after the last couple of years. There are some kids that never fully have developed like how to make friends. Like something I talk about with my kids all the time, like they don't have that problem. Like it's not like a massive problem with them, but I think with every kid, especially coming out of this, a lot of things I'll talk to them about is like you have to be able to have a conversation. You have to be able to talk with people without doing it through your phone and through text and to be able to interact with new people. And I think that that's a great spot for kids to go practice that and figure that out. I think
Right.
going over to that youth center is a big plus for any kid in Evergreen Park.
And I want to say that probably once school gets out, they do expand their hours. Right now, it's 3 to 6 every day, every
Right.
weekday. I believe that before long they go to like 1 o'clock to 6. So on July 30th, which is a Saturday, they are doing their bicycle tour of Evergreen Park in cahoots with the Historical Commission. So they get a big group of I don't want to say bikers, but families.
We're gonna get a group
Harley
of,
Davidson
we're
guys
gonna
driving
get a
around
group
Evergreen.
of bikers.
Yeah,
I
right.
love this. I love the picture you just painted. A bunch of bikers riding,
Yeah.
going around Evergreen Park. No, people on bikes, families on bikes, riding around Evergreen Park. I've
Right, and
heard
they're
about this.
They're led, and they did it a couple of years ago. It was very successful, and so it's led by folks from the Historical Commission. Take them to about 5 or 6 spots around the village that have historical significance, and then they wind up back at the youth center for a little snack. That's going to be a fun time.
It does sound like a really fun time.
If I had a bike, I would do it myself.
It's
but-
something that I'm intending to try to get out to myself.
Also, the parade's coming up. Yay! They still need some entries, actually.
Several businesses that work with the Broadcast Basement On Demand Radio Network, either here on the EP podcast or on other shows, I know are in the parade. So
Yeah.
there's a heavy amount of folks that I work with or have worked with from time to time that I know are going to be in the parade, but I know we need more. We need to have some fun out there.
Yeah.
We need to celebrate midsummer and the return of this parade. Don't sleep on it. Get in on the parade.
Right. You give Rec a call there, 708-229-3373. We'd love to have you.
Get a float out there. I want to see this thing get back to just as big as it was before.
Right, and they've also got the summer concerts coming, starting actually the first one's coming up in a couple of weeks on the 13th, and those are at over there at Circle Park. I believe, however, City Lights, I think they're coming in, I want to say end of August, City Lights Orchestra, and they're over at 50 Acre Park.
Right. I'm still waiting on you to announce Weezer. Okay. So just try to work on a bigger act. That's
Well,
all
I'll
I'm
tell you
saying.
this much. Now that we segue to the word act, something that you might really find interesting if you're in the need of a laugh, and who isn't, but in a couple of weeks, opening up, our Recreation Department Candlelight Theater is putting forward the comedy George Washington Slept Here. No, you may not have heard it, but it's actually the father of these things you've probably seen on the TV. The couple buys an old dilapidated house in New England. They're going to fix it up, but they encounter so many problems. And comedy Friday, June 10th at 7:30, June 11th at 7:30, June 12th, which is a Sunday at 3 p.m. over in the Performance Hall of the Evergreen Park Senior Center. Tickets are available at the Recreation Department.
That is the location that is just to the south of
The old
95th
church.
and Homan.
Right, it's the old church. You enter in the back, and fully air conditioned. We do the table seating. I think we've done that in some of the things that you've done.
Yeah.
over
Do you,
there.
now refresh my memory. Do you have to buy tickets in advance? Can you show up the same day?
I
How does this work?
recommend you get them in advance, just because they are the placement is first come first serve. So yeah, you'll always be able to get tickets.
Are you bringing back the
door.
tables again?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
does that mean food served or
No,
what?
well, Paisha and their youth department will be there to sell concessions.
Okay.
And she does. She brings the whole dog and pony show. So you want candy bars, you want whatever. She'll have everything. A funny show. I recommend that you all come out.
Glenn's busy. Everybody else over there at the community center is busy. The youth department, the rec department. We also have the Office of Citizen Services over there. And remember, if you heard something and you were like, well, I want to know more about that, you can go into the community center and inquire. And of course, it's a podcast. You can rewind and listen again. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you, Chris.
A pitcher of beer, a pitcher of beer. Let's order another pitcher of beer. That pitcher of beer should come over here. I love that pitcher of beer.
As John's grabbing another beer here at the bar, let me tell you real quick about Hyatt Home Medical Equipment. This is a company right here in Evergreen Park. They've been around for a while. Their whole thing is trying to make sure that you are able to stay independent and in your home, whether an injury or old age is starting to creep up and you're having a hard time getting around. They want you to be able to stay in your house. That's why they have a big brand new showroom right along 95th Street. They have the little stuff like CPAP machines. They have testing rooms so you can actually try the product out and get used to it before you take it home. And they also have lift chairs and grab bars and things to put inside the bathroom to make it easier to get in and out of the tub. Hyatt Home Medical Equipment works with your insurance company. Stay independent. Check out the showroom at 3518 West 95th Street, right here in Evergreen Park, or check them out online at hhme.com. John Brand Open Outcry, 109th and Western. What is your favorite beer that is currently on tap right
That's
now?
like asking.
As you crack one open here at the 9 Foot
You
Home
have
at Oak
3
Park.
kids, right?
Yeah,
And which one's your favorite kid?
the middle guy.
The middle guy.
Yeah. Sometimes the little guy, sometimes the older one. The older one at 17 years old.
If you,
I mean, you have a 17-year-old girl one day, and you'll have 2 of them at some point because you have 2 daughters. And there is something, she's not even 17, she's 16 going on 45. I mean, she thinks she's just got it all figured out. And I spend most of my time trying to say, I know you think you know what you're doing, but you don't really know what you're
are
doing.
you how old are you?
I'm 45.
Are you finding yourself at 45? You're like, you know what? I thought I had it figured out, but I don't have it figured out at 45 either. Do you?
No, here's the thing. I feel like I have a lot of things figured out about the world. I think I'm focusing more on figuring me out. I understand how to do things like that whole commercial, like this is the age of knowing, like something breaks and I go, I got this. Something happens with the kids. I'm like, especially the little guy, like when the little guy, something happens, I'm like, I've done this before. I feel like I'm giving very solid advice to my teenagers. And I feel like I can handle most things with other people. It's me. Like I never really worked on me in terms of like, how do I not get stressed out over stupid stuff? Like, how do I find a way to like enjoy the good stuff in life? Because especially after starting the business, like, and you know this as a business owner, you just focus so much on making sure it works.
Mm-hmm.
You don't ever take time for yourself. That's what I'm working on right now. Like maybe I should finally like lose 20 pounds. And take care of myself. Like those are the things I'm working on right now. But yeah, do you know what you are?
No, the older I get, I learn I don't know shit. I don't know anything.
What do you know about beer? So what's the best beer?
So
in your
that
place?
I know. That what I know is that I like making beer and I like making pizza and I like sharing that with our community. And you asked me what are our 3 my favorite beer right now. Anyone that's listened to your show in the past knows that I have a passion for and love and like sharing Speculator. It's our number 1 seller.
It's a cream ale. So did you like cream ales when Speculator came out, or is it that you just fell in love with Speculator and that's why it's your favorite beer?
I was brewing a lot of cream ales as a home brewer, and I fell in love with the style then. The reason being that, first of all, it's an ale that is fairly close to a lager-like drinking experience. And I like drinking lagers, and I can make this beer in my basement without having to go through the lagering process. So I like cream ales then. Cream ales are also just a purely traditional American-style beer, right? It's not European at all. It was a beer that developed here in this country, and it's rooted in local barley and local hops, and it's simple, it's unpretentious, it's easy to drink.
What's the worst style of beer in your opinion?
The worst style
is
of
there
beer?
a style of beer that when somebody, if your brewer came to you and said, I'm making this kind of beer, you'd be like, oh, I don't want to even have that. I'll pretend that I like it because we're selling it, but it's not my style.
The 2 brewers that have worked for us, Will Turner and now Eric, both are incredible brewers.
They're gifted.
And industry professionals.
Yeah.
So when those guys say that they're going to make a beer, they're going to make this beer, I rarely ever push back on them because I trust their judgment. But I just like, there's certain styles and certain yeast strains that
some
I
people
haven't
don't
gotten
like
into.
sours.
Like,
they don't like those. Some
I
people
don't-
don't like wit beers.
I don't drink a lot of Belgians. I never have. I've
Belgians,
never
that's
drank
one,
a
yeah.
lot of Belgians.
Yeah.
Now, I will occasionally enjoy. There's an occasional Belgian I'll come across that I like, but that's not the first thing I reach for.
It's a very different taste than most other beers.
Yeah,
But
but-
that's an acquired taste.
But to say that there's a beer style I just flat out don't like, I don't. I'm not, you know what? No, there is one. I'll be honest.
Here
with
we
you.
go.
I'll give you an honest
Here it
answer.
goes.
I don't like rock beers.
What kind?
A rock beer.
What is that?
Those are smoked. When you take malt and you smoke it, and then you mash it.
Ugh.
that smoked malt gives you very intense smoked flavors, like almost like when you smoke meat for a day and a half, right? It tastes like a campfire, and that is a beer style. So I'm giving you something. I'm giving you content here.
Wow.
That is a beer style I've never been able to wrap my head around.
That's a beer style I don't think I've ever tried.
It's
I don't
called a
want to
rock beer. You can get rock. Go up to Binny's. They got rock beers.
They've got them
You
there?
can try one.
I'm gonna try
But
one
You
of
got
these
to
and
really
figure it
like
out, yeah.
smoked.
Holy
that smoked
cow.
flavor.
That's
Yeah.
great. Well, people are going to try anything. Before we get out of here, and I've got one more question for John. It has to do with the dog, a cute little puppy you've got to check out. It is now time for your EP Podcast Bulletin Board. A chance for folks right here in this area to get a message out to you during the 30 Minutes of Good that is the EP Podcast. Like this message here. Kick off your summer with the Evergreen Park Library's Summer Reading Program. Read beyond the beaten path. Children, teens, and adults can win lots of exciting prizes for reaching their reading goals. Sign up in person or via the Beanstack app. Be on the lookout for all the adventurous summer events the library has planned. Register now for the Reptile Show on Wednesday, June 8th before it is too late, and start your summer adventure today. Learn more at evergreenparklibrary.org. Last week on the EP Podcast, we talked with a couple here in Evergreen Park growing peppers in their backyards and in other people's backyards and making hot sauces. An extended version of that is actually available right now on one of the other podcasts that I do, Southside Pod. You can check that out anywhere podcasts can be found, and always at southsidepod.com. Sid Sauce is available to you right now, and they offer free delivery to local customers door to door. They were also telling me there's a health benefit to hot sauce. I didn't know this. The beta-carotene and the antioxidants actually help your immune system, and it speeds up your metabolism. So now when I put hot sauce on food, does that make that diet food? I'm going with it all summer long. If you want to reach out, they're a local business. They're brand new. Go through Facebook. Look up Sid Sauce today. Hibernian Home Care is now available for you to use here in Evergreen Park and the surrounding area. If you are or know a senior that needs help recovering at home from an illness or hospitalization, suffering from dementia, living with a chronic health condition, terminally ill, or just a fall risk, Hibernian Home Care is there for you. They are dedicated to servicing individuals who need assistance to remain in their own homes, age in place, and maintain their independence. And they are locally owned and operated by a registered nurse with over a quarter of a century in experience. That's big. Reach out to Mary Murphy today if you want to learn more. 708-634-2450 or check out HibernianHomeCareService.com. That is your EP Podcast Bulletin Board. If you have something for the Bulletin Board, remember, you can call us about anything. Call us about the Bulletin Board or leave a message. Both options available at theeppodcast.com. You've got a dog now, right? It doesn't go into the brewery because those are the rules, but there's like a doggy room where you can go and you can see the
our
dog.
office in the back.
Yeah.
We have an office in the back.
Are people
off the
excited?
alley. We're in a lot, and the door's always open, and people always come in and talk and have a beer. Ruby is now in there. She's been a great addition to our home with my wife and our two daughters, and with and at the brewery as well. Who's
picking up the doggy do?
That's me.
Really? You don't have the girls doing that yet?
A little bit, but
Really?
But
How old's your oldest?
11.
Doggy do. I got a 6-year-old out there picking up dog
She'll
poop in
do
my
it.
house.
The truth is, Chris.
You go tell them the Lanuti kids pick it up even when they're 6 years old. There's dog do.
The truth is the push to get this dog was really coming from me, and just because I needed a friend.
Come on. You're a father of two. You didn't figure out a way to make them think it was their idea.
My wife said I changed diapers for.
Well, no,
these
you
two
don't. You don't expect her to do it.
No, she told me straight up.
Right.
She's like, I'm not cleaning
You have
up
to
dog.
convince the children
I
they
changed
wanted the
diapers
dog.
for how many
Right.
years? You're cleaning up the
Right.
dog shit. And I said, deal, no problem.
Right. Yeah, no, you have to convince the children this is what they wanted. You make them fall in love with the dog, and then you threaten to take the dog away if they don't pick up the dog do. I'm just telling you, that's how you do it.
We're working on it.
All right. You're nicer than I am.
But I'm in love with this
mean,
dog.
horrible
if
human being.
Ruby's an English Mastiff. She's going to, it looks like she's going to be somewhere between 150 and 170 pounds.
Wow.
I know these piles of shit are going to be massive, but I'm so in love with this dog. I don't care. I'll clean up her poo. I don't care. I'll clean it up.
All right, so people can get over there. They can try out the beers. They can look for the dog. You've got the bar on the top of the roof now completed. That's why you were so filthy when you came over here. I'm very excited to go and sit there at the bar on the rooftop at 109th and Western at Open Outcry all summer long. I'm looking forward to that. Anything else?
I will give you another thing, though. Our general manager, Lindsay, has put a ton of time in the last couple of weeks into our cocktail menu for this summer. And she was showing me some of the stuff she's come up with. But what Lindsay has done for the summer cocktail menu, which I think we're going to release and announce in the next week, is pretty fun. A lot of margaritas, a lot of gins, all fresh.
And what's funny is it's like full circle. Coming up this Friday, the special half-hour episode. We do this every once in a while where we sit down with one person. We have a big, long conversation here on the EP podcast. Subscribers love it. We have John Brand, and we talk a little bit about distilling and the cocktail phase and the way that it's starting to become like a big thing. People are making like craft cocktails now, and you have people on the south side that have distilleries, and we're going to get into all of that as well. I can't wait to do it. My friend, thanks for hanging out on the EP podcast. You will see me at the rooftop bar where I expect there to be some sort of plaque or a little something that says this is Chris's seat, right? We're going to take care of that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and the dog.
Yeah.
No, the dog
Brass.
can't go up there, just me.
Brass?
Yeah, brass.
Or platinum?
Brass. Platinum. Platinum is... You know what? I'm going to let you pick because it's your place.
Inflation has really made metals expensive, so I think we'll probably go with brass.
Brass works.
Yeah.
Brass is old school. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Another show is wrapped up. Another show's in the books. Another show is wrapped up. And then by the looks, it's gonna be a good one. And we'll see you next week. And the nude is basement. And the nude is basement. Another show is wrapped up. Another show is wrapped up. Another show is wrapped up. And it's in the books. Another show is wrapped up. Another show is wrapped up. And by the looks, it's gonna be a good one. Nudie's Basement. Broadcast Basement. The Nudie's Basement. The Broad Basement. Slancha.
The EP Podcast. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at the eppodcast.com.